How's it going? And welcome to the Caffeinated Coordinators podcast. My name is Scott Pellegrin, Coach Pell, and joining me from the other side of the table, the other side of the ball, the other side of the line of scrimmage, he is the king of the call sheet, the quarterback guru, and he once turned down an NIL deal from Daryl's in Lake Charles, Coach G, Tyler Gaspard.
That's one NIL deal I would never turn down.
And the
surf and turf.
The surf and turf. Y'all talked me into it that one. I've only ever stopped and hung out in Lake Charles once in my life. Yeah, and I don't even like mayo, and y'all talked me into the jalapeno mayo, and it was good. It was worth it.
Let's make a drive.
Oh, and the third man in the booth. He is our producer, the freshman football jack of all trades, the godfather of EA TV, and he lends his name, image, and likeness to EA for free. Coach Eric Brownfield.
This is true, yeah. I do.
I'm gonna have to come up with one for you one day, man.
Oh yeah,
but it has to be like the baseball coaches call me Tommy Topper. It's gonna have to be the top of the top. Like, I can't just come in and do it.
Well, gee, I cannot take credit for this type of stuff, man. Because one of my favorite podcasts, so like it's stolen. The whole thing's stolen. The intro, the laundry list of accolades or qualities or whatever. Big wrestling fan, as we all know. Jim Cornette, old school wrestling manager. You know, known for the Midnight Express and the Mid-South Wrestling and among others. But that's probably what our listenership would know him from. And he has a podcast now, and his co-host every week. That's how he introduces them. You know, Hawaiian Brian, the podcasting line, blah, 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 blah. And then the last line is unique every week to what they're talking about. So I kind of stole that and, you know, it's a little homage because that's my favorite one. And that's what we do. You know, all the good things are stolen in life, right?
Don't reinvent the wheel.
No, hell no. So we buried the lead, NIL. Yeah. NIL is the topic of the day. So we're going with things like Saban being on Capitol Hill along with the ACC commissioner and the Cavender twins and some of those people. Ted Cruz, of all people, is leading it. And not to get into a political debate, but Ted Cruz is an interesting character in and of himself.
To say the least.
Yeah, and so there's that. There's high school NIL deals. We saw one in our area recently. So I mean, there's a lot to unpack here and a lot of meat on this bone. So it's a good thing we started a couple minutes earlier than we normally do because this one might go a couple minutes longer. But G, I'm gonna throw it to you, man. Tell us about our people and do your thing.
I usually make my stops on Friday morning to get my River Roast Cafe. I mean, they helped us, gave us a little bag, French Roast Cafe, coffee, but I didn't need to make a stop this morning. We had some in the mighty 1200 mods. We got Gaspar's Cajun Heat seasoning. He just made his seafood boil in 2-pound bags. So if you need some, hit us up on the X.
On the X. We should probably put a link to his.
We should.
Does he have like an online shop?
No, he has an email.
Yeah, we could just.
Well, here we go.
We could link his email.
Yeah, we'll put that in the description. Done.
You know, that would be a good deal.
Gaspar's Cajun Catering or something like that.
Gaspar.
You got to say it correct.
I love the French pronunciation of your name. So, can we tell this story real quick before we jump in?
Go ahead.
When we first met.
Oh yeah.
We first met, the head coach was interviewing you and taking you around the horn, around the field house, and all this. So I walk in there during the summer, and and you know, coach introduces us, and you say your name's Tyler Gaspar, and I was like, whoa, time out. That's a Cajun last name. Where are you from? Because I was thinking, well, I might know him, you know, because having come from South Lafourche, South Terrebonne area. You said Karen Crow, Lafayette. I said, the other Cajuns on the other side of the state. Understood. And then the best part of that day was you got introduced to my kind of off the wall personality. You want to tell the rest of this?
You got your schedule for the year, your teaching schedule.
Yeah, Miss Avery was
that
newly
was like her
principal.
First or second day on the job.
Right, and she comes to the field house. Go ahead.
Yeah, she comes to the field house and is like, I got some good news. And she says, you'll have this block off, you'll have football, and then you'll have 2 quests or whatever. I think it was Quest. And you're like, oh, okay. And thank you, Miss Avery.
Played it totally cool.
Yeah. As soon as she walks out, you erupted And I was like, okay, he's juicy. He's got an easy schedule.
Dude, hey, I had the class I was promised for 2 blocks
Yeah.
a day, which was perfect. I had my regular conference block, and then football was made my class. The football P was my class. And every other stop I've been to before, it's like, well, we're going to put you off hour during the football block. And it's like, dang, okay, I appreciate that. But I'm like, man, if you could make it my class, that'd be awesome. Oh, I did. If I could have did a backflip, I'd have did it right there in the office.
Yeah, that doesn't happen always.
But yeah.
Might have not known you too long if you'd have tried to backflip.
Now, Miss Avery does listen to the show, so Miss Avery, props to you. Always
Taken care of.
taking care of the football coaches, which we very, very much appreciate. So big ups.
Want to get into the game?
Let's go. Time to play the game.
It's time to play. Okay.
Time to play the game.
It's been a couple of episodes.
Been a while.
Coach Ward was the last time we played this or that.
That's right. That was like episode 3 or 4.
Yeah. We're going to get back into this or that. Mine personally are going to be tied to our conversation of NIL deal, kind of. I tried to find questions that would kind of tie into that. So I'll get started with, I think we did it last time. Ask a question, go down the room, answer.
Yeah.
All right. So this or that. Get paid a lot by a bad team or average to be on an elite team?
Ooh.
Oh man,
And
that's dirty, man.
And that's not just relevant to college now.
That's
like
professional.
The pros have been doing.
Yeah.
They've been struggling with this since free agency was born.
That's true.
Ralphie, you want to take this one?
Yeah, look, all right. This is going to contradict what I want to say later, but
you're probably going to answer one of my questions here in a second.
Gosh, I would have to get paid a lot to be on a bad team because to me, like, I feel like the generational wealth that's created in professional sports is something it is so incredibly rare and difficult to find anywhere else, and it's so hard to get that and to have a chance to get that and basically set your family up for, as close to perpetuity as you could ever achieve. That's just something. We're talking about like, $25 million a year kind of thing, $30 million a year versus, maybe $5 million.
Yeah,
you can't. Winning is great, and maybe you go win later or something, and in your career, maybe you tag along with a great team. But even if you don't, having that kind of money, you change a whole family. You change people who aren't even born yet, forever. I can't pass that up. Can't pass it up.
All
but
right.
I totally understand if you disagree with that. Totally.
I look at it like this. And it's easy for the poor guy to say this. So full disclosure. How much money do you really need? So
Who's the rich guy here?
but I look at it like this. Does 25 million and 30 million, once you get to that really upper tier of generational wealth, life-changing money, at what point is like, okay, well, what's the difference between 5 million? Because, if you invested right and you got the right people around you and all this type of stuff. Because if you got generational wealth, you should have generational resources to help you with that wealth. Not everybody does, but
Correct.
You would think you would. It's like I'm gonna err on the side of less to play on a good team, but still taking what you're worth. In other words, you still giving me market value,
right.
but
Well, I guess that's why
market value for the
average,
good team.
Not necessarily less, just average. Like
Right.
you're getting paid like
A
the
normal
average player.
Yeah, normal salary.
Less for a good team.
Like you'd be the elite guy on the bad team, I guess is what I.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm personally going to take the get paid more. I'm sorry, get paid average to be on the better team because I think you're going to perform better. If you have better players around you, you're going to perform better because you're going to be held to a higher standard, which then again gets you another payday.
You almost stick
somewhere.
out in a bad way if you're
Yes.
the best player on a bad team.
Yes.
Well, when you run out of that money, guys, y'all come see me.
Now we're gonna jump into NIL. I know this wasn't meant to like dive into, but I'll say it real quick. Like, if I'm going to play quarterback and somebody's offering me $2 million versus $1 million, I'm I'm probably taking the $2 million because I'm coming right out of high school. Like,
Yeah.
of course I'm taking more money now.
Yes.
But I'm saying, if you're getting that stupid amount of money, 8 and 9 figures, yeah. I mean, what's 10 mil at that point?
Kirk Cousins has received over $300 million in guaranteed money, and he's won one playoff game in 12 years.
How you think?
Now he's going to the Dirty Birds.
How you think RG3 feels about Kirk Cousins? Same draft, same team.
Oh, wow.
RG3's on television, mad that he can't get signed, and Cousins is still playing.
Yeah.
With
Anyway.
one playoff win in
One.
all those years.
Brownie,
Over
you got
$300
one?
million. Oh, all right. So this or that. All right. So we're in the Lent season.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we're gonna go with so it is Friday for us.
It is.
So all right. So if you're observing Lent today, you got some seafood choices there. I've always said
PB&J this morning.
it's not fair. It's not fair, in South Louisiana for that to be the sacrifice. Really having to eat meat should be the sacrifice. But, but so it is. All right, so here we go. So
Especially when you grow up in Cajun land.
right, a couple of classics. I mean, people come down here to eat just seafood. I mean, all right. So if you're in Kansas, then I mean, it's a big sacrifice. But here, I mean, come on. All right, so a fish plate, like a fried fish plate, or a shrimp po' boy. So it's Friday.
What's on the shrimp
ribs are
plate?
Lent.
I mean,
it's
the fish
fully.
plate.
The fish plate is going to be like fried fish. Usually it's let's go ahead and do like a loaded down one. So it's fried fish, French fries, potato salad, and like a roll, or something like that. That's usually
Or a shrimp po' boy.
or a shrimp po' boy. You can do fries with both.
God, I'm such a seafood snob. I'm gonna err on the side of fish. I'm going with the fish plate.
Catfish?
Oh yeah, fried catfish. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm going fish all day.
I'm going fish plate.
There you go. Yeah,
Especially if
it's
it's a channel cat from Bayou Blue, down where you from.
how about that?
I've tasted too many either foreign shrimp or shrimp with the iodine taste to it.
Yeah.
It just
I love a good shrimp po' boy.
if you don't get shrimp from the right place, shrimp are gonna taste absolutely. They have that iodine type taste. I don't know if you ever experienced that, but my uncle taught me about that at a young age because he was a shrimper. And they would catch shrimp year round. They'd go to the reefs in the off season, and apparently that was the best tasting stuff when you're in the off season. So
You can't forget hush puppies.
Oh yeah, you definitely have hush puppies.
yeah, hush puppies is a good deal. With a little Louisiana hot sauce on them.
And that's really in North Louisiana. The fish fries a North Louisiana thing more than South Louisiana. But yeah, I think that's a good choice.
Yeah.
I'm with that as well.
Fish plate.
Yeah, they're just more solid. You have a good catfish, you're not going to go wrong with that. You never bite into it and say, "Oh, it's a bad catfish." Like you just don't. It doesn't work.
The bigger they get, the better they taste.
I don't know, man.
Those channel cats, man.
You got to cut them into thin strips, a la Spars on Highway 90
Oh, that's a whole different debate there.
with the onion sticks. Oh my goodness.
Middendorf's.
I need to go home. Yeah, Middendorf's.
Middendorf's thin. Yeah.
So I got one. I'm gonna keep current with today's theme. Only one could stay and one could go. And I'm not talking about any kind of adjustment to it, any kind of new legislation. Just the way it is right now. You can keep NIL or you can keep the portal. Which one you keep? Like by the portal, I mean the one-time transfer, free of charge, immediately eligible. The way it is now, one got to stay, one got to go. Which one you picking?
Me, the portal's got to go.
I'd say the portal as well. But to counter argue that, like, don't want to get too much into the weeds, but if you're offering an 18-year-old, I don't know, let's say he's from Louisiana, and you offer him to go to, I don't know, on the freaking coast of California, he gets homesick when now, he got the multi-million-dollar contract, all right, but he wants to get closer home. I don't know, something tragic happens in life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now he can't transfer and be eligible.
Tough one.
I think honestly, because I played when there was still kind of a portal, I think I'm gonna get rid of NIL and keep the one-time transfer portal.
Okay. I'm
just like there's got to be rules on it though. It can't be like
Can't be like it is now.
keep the money. I'm keeping the money. I'm getting rid of the one-time transfer. You change your mind, you got to sit unless you go down. That's what we're going
He
with.
said, yeah.
I think that's going to come into play
Yeah.
here because you basically have a free agency situation right now.
And that's why it's a circus.
Yep.
But we're not going to go into too much detail. We got a few more minutes left of the game.
Yeah.
Going to save it.
We'll go one more round.
One more round.
All right. I had 2 questions left, but I'm gonna do this one because in our text message last night, Coach Brownfield kind of juiced me up. So, stay on the below average team or join your rival to win the title.
Y'all are going to learn a lot about my loyalty with this answer.
Oh man,
You're going to learn a lot about my loyalty right here.
Stay on the below average Cowboys or join. Especially right now, man.
All right. Well, okay. On the professional level, I see, and I'm a college guy.
Yeah.
So on the professional level, I don't believe in the rivals as much. And of course, the NFC East has very long-standing rivalry. I mean, way back.
It's more important to the fans than the players in pros.
Right. And it's a job. It is technically a job.
That's right.
Now, of course, we're going to talk.
We're going to get into
college a job now too. But
Hell, is high school a job?
Right, like are we losing those rivalries all the way down? But so for me at the pro level, I mean, I would go win the title because I don't buy into the pro rivalry as much. Now college
Not
rivalry,
really a program.
yeah, I don't
think.
believe in
It's
going
not-
from
it's a
Alabama
business,
to
it's not a program.
right, Alabama to Auburn. Like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that to go win a title. I don't think so. You got all these guys jumping from Georgia to Alabama to Auburn and A&M to Texas or something like that. No, you can't.
Florida.
Florida and Georgia.
Yeah,
Florida's running back
transferred to
went to
Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah.
It's like you
Agent from Jennings.
Yeah, you can't do that. I just don't like that. I don't like that. It sits
So you're
for me
staying
much worse.
below average team?
Yeah,
You're gonna stay home?
yeah.
Stay home?
Staying. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, on the college level, high school level for sure. Pro level, I don't believe in those rivalries. So yeah, I would go win the title. But if there is a rivalry in your mind, yeah, I wouldn't break that to go win the title.
Scotty P.
I'm going to win.
You're going to win.
100%.
You chasing rings.
I don't care. I don't care if I grew up the most diehard LSU, and I have, and I am. But if I was in that position, player, coach, whatever, if the opportunity, again, for market value now, I'm not necessarily going to take less than what I feel like I'd be worth, like if you're a player with money or whatever, but
Right.
or a coach with money or whatever. Like if I was a coach, let's say I was a college coach, I wouldn't go from being a position coach at a school that is going to struggle to try to win the title to go be an analyst somewhere that's going to win a title. Wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But all things being equal,
Yeah. A lateral.
or above, I'm going to the good team if the good team wants me. And the thing about rivalries, I'm loyal to the person that signs the checks. My favorite team is he who pays. So
You've said that multiple times.
I have, and I'm consistent with that. And I am loyal to people, not places. People, not places. And I think loyalty is a two-way street. And I think that could be a whole episode because you'll see a lot of coaches on Twitter and send you hate tweets at Scott Impel. But a lot loyalty is like, oh, well, I need my coaches to be loyal. That's great. Is that reciprocated? You want me to defend you in public, or are you going to defend me in public? If we have that agreement, then yes, we can work together.
Right.
Because it's not a who goes first thing. It's a handshake. We're going to both hold up our end of the bargain. Just like when you agree to anything. Hey, this handshake means we got each other's back until this agreement is done. And if you could do that, great. And speaking on the rivalry, once my agreement with a place is done, if I have a chance to go somewhere else, then you know what? That has nothing to do with a rivalry or the place. It has everything to do with professional advancement.
I'm staying on the below average.
I'm a little fired up today, guys. Can you tell? I'm a little wired.
I thought we just started the list a little early.
Well, my list is a nice list today, but that was as close to, that's about as close to my negative list as you're gonna get today.
I'm staying below average. I think it'll mean more if you can finally win it with the below average than just jumping to the bandwagon and going to team. And
Now, if you got a chance, now if
I think you learn more.
right, and if you have a chance to, if the team you're leaving is competitive to win the title, like we're high school coach. Let's look at the upper echelon of our non-select Division 1 5A. You know, would I jump from Zachary to West Monroe? No. West Monroe to Destran? No. They're all in the mix
They're all
every
top
year.
tier.
Like
Yeah.
yeah. If one of them's on a hot streak, then and I jump ship, you come on, don't be that guy. But if you're a team that's got, or even like an EA, like we have a chance to break into that upper echelon on any given year, like, you know, this place worth staying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if I'm not going to name any names, but if I'm at a school that plays in the same division but is talent-wise year to year traditionally probably going to be a first-round bounce, then, I'm going to go to a better school.
Anybody from EA knows.
I wasn't going to say it. No, I know where you're going with that. No,
I think that's why Brownfield played that.
Nope. I was going to say some schools from my hometown.
Okay.
That's what I was going to do. I wasn't going to bury anybody in Ascension. That wasn't going to happen.
Is the game over? Y'all want to play some more? We want to jump in?
I got a last one for you. Last one before we get into our topic.
Let's go.
Favorite crawfish fixin'? Sausage, corn, potato, onion, carrot, unnamed. Favorite crawfish fixin' in the bowl?
You can only pick one?
Only one for the rest of your life. Go.
Bro, I'm about to throw this coffee in your face.
Only one.
God, there's garlic, onion, carrots.
Yeah, I forgot garlic.
I got mine. Garlic. It's garlic.
You eat a clove of garlic?
I would eat
I
a
make
dozen
myself
of them.
sick. It's
Yes.
like I don't like it.
My dad likes
I don't
those
like
too.
it.
I would eat
5
a dozen
hours
of them.
after I don't like it.
Yeah.
But
I would eat a dozen of them in a row.
man,
love that. It smooths that garlic out just to where you can, because you could never be able to do that just normal. Like, oh yeah, man.
I think the lemon kind of has something to do with that.
Yeah.
I'm going
carrot. I'm going onion.
I was about to say I'm gonna go with the yellow onion.
I'm going onion.
Sausage would be a close second. Love potatoes and corn, but that's 3 and 4.
Mushrooms would be last for me.
Oh, love mushrooms
My
too.
dad
Love
loves-
mushrooms.
good. Mushrooms good.
Mushrooms are great. They soak up the seasoning really well.
Better than anything, probably.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
You know. Sorry for you texture people that don't like eating mushrooms. It's kind of a weird texture, but they're good.
Pineapple and oranges. If you never tried those,
I've seen people put orange.
I've seen oranges. Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen oranges.
but yeah, they can't compare to garlic.
I like citrus stuff, so I appreciate.
Garlic is unbelievable.
And that next day, you take that out, put it in the skillet with some,
I've never actually eaten the garlic like whole.
My mom made a vegetable soup with the leftover vegetables one time.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
Yep, that's the way to do it, Coach. You or a fettuccine the next night, or some sort of soup, stew, et cetera, et cetera. You put all of the stuff in there one more time. And when it sits cold overnight, my grandma taught me this. When it sits cold, anything, you notice the leftovers of whether it be seafood or whatever is always got a little more kick the next day.
Cold crawfish the next day. I love it.
It's always got a little more kick.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
All right, so we're cruising up on just under the half-hour mark. Want to get into it?
The NIL.
The NIL.
Here we go. I don't have anything to crash, sadly.
If it was appropriate, I'd show you the time I imitated Stone Cold just a couple of weeks ago.
All right, NIL.
Show you that off air.
Name, image, and likeness. Trickled into, it started in the college level. It started to trickle into the high school level.
Yeah.
Let's do a overall 1 word to 1 sentence, somewhere right there. Overall opinion on NIL. Scotty P, go.
Unregulated.
Disastrous. As it is now. Disastrous.
Y'all both use just 1 word.
Well, you said it could be 1 word.
Devalued.
Ooh. Interesting.
And when can I get it cranked up?
Go ahead.
I'll start it with this. Last week we talked about youth sports, right?
Yep.
And how the rings devalued getting a ring in high school, state championship. I think NIL deals are devaluing the NFL payday. I think not as many people are working hard for that NFL payday because 18, 19-year-old kid is now making possibly more than that NFL payday on draft day.
So
That's how we'll kick it off.
let me play devil's advocate on that.
Okay.
We'll go down that road for a second. You played at McNeese.
Mm-hmm.
What about for the small school guys that aren't making big money? Maybe they got a little deal where they could make, I don't know, $5-6 grand at a lower level in a quote unquote NIL deal. The NFL is really not a thing for them, but is it good for those guys? Does it devalue anything for those guys?
Are you getting free education?
Yeah, we'll say you're on scholarship.
Are you getting free housing? You're getting free food?
Correct. Yeah. All of the above.
What else do you need? You're an 18, 19-year-old kid playing football, getting a free education to already better your life.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you need?
Because there's a lot of...
Why do you need money in your pocket? What are you going to do? You going to go blow it at the casino when you turn 21?
Spoken like a guy who played in Lake Charles.
I'm like, if you're already getting your college paid for, which is, I mean, at the smaller school, McNeese is like $7 grand a year. Or it's probably raised a little bit.
Yeah, it's probably $7, $8, $9 grand, counting
So
housing, meals, the whole thing. Yeah,
30 to 35 grand over 4 years. What else do you need while you're in school? You're already getting money to. If you live off campus, you get a check to pay for your rent.
Mm-hmm.
You get your food paid for because you get a check, like that. That instead of them paying for your housing on campus, you get a check. What else do you need?
So along the lines of that, so to take the devil's advocate hat off now, I agree with you. First of all, I agree with you because even at the schools where you're probably not going to be in position to go pro, because very few guys from the lower level schools go pro. Okay, and that's okay, but those guys still make lifelong connections in business or in their chosen line of work because they were a college athlete. So not only does your university, oh, hey, I went to McNeese, you went to McNeese. Cool. Well, I played. You played. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I played at such and such. I remember, were you on the team when we, you know what I'm saying? You're not just building with the people that went to your school. You're building with the people who are just like you at other places. And you're forming a connection that way. So I think, and we know about jobs, it's not what you know, it's who you know a lot of the time, which is, that's fine. That, again, me and Brownfield talk all the time about, in a lot of ways in life, you don't get to write the rules. You got to play by the rules you're handed. And when you're finding a real job after college, it's not always merit. It's who's willing to put their name out for you.
Right.
And I think that's some of the benefit, the financial benefit, in addition to scholarship money, that playing college sports gives you. The financial benefit is you're going to make connections, if you're smart, with people who could potentially set you up with a very good job one day.
You're a student athlete. We've always said, like, there's student comes first anyway. Like, you're there for your education to better your life.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason that like parents push for college. Like, I don't know, back in the 80s and 90s, college wasn't as important as it is now.
That's right.
Sure.
Go to college, get the education. That way you can have a better job and a better life for you and your family. And like, because you always want your kids to be better than you. So go to college, get the free education. Like, not too many people get to say that. You either got good grades, you play sports, or you're in the military, pretty much.
Yeah.
So do you think that devaluing a potential of a professional career, is that one of the only damages of accepting NIL money in your mind? Because if you're talking about NFL, you're probably talking about upper echelon, like the Bryce Youngs and the $1 million contracts and those type of guys.
So look, I think we kind of talked on Nick Saban the past couple days, but like, I think it's okay if you want to be in a commercial, like they can pay you to be in a commercial. If you want to, like, if people want you to sign autographs, you should be able to collect. If people want to buy your jersey, like, because now, like, hey, you're performing, people want to see you. Okay, you can get a few bucks. Like, I don't think there's an issue with that. I'm thinking like these people that are putting their personal money into this.
Those collectives that Saban talked about.
Yeah, like if you're putting you're putting a percentage of your money, which you earn, on an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kid, like that is playing football to make your team look good. I that's what I don't understand about it.
I appreciate your opinion because I've coached with a lot of guys that played college football, and most of them at and I don't say smaller schools as a dig. I just mean like at smaller schools, like those guys are going to graduate and get a regular job. They wasn't going to go pro,
Right?
Yeah.
You know, and
look,
a lot of them don't have that same opinion. Even, you know, they're like, man, if I could have made a couple of bucks, that'd have been great. But I think you brought up a great point about the original intention of NIL was, okay, you know, a promoter could pay you to go sign autographs at the mall for the afternoon and make some money. Or you could make money off of your jersey sales, you know, because LSU, in the sports stores, you see it every year. Whoever was the best player on the team, lo and behold, that number, that jersey,
most of the time is number 7.
yeah, with no name on it, was being sold. You know, and so I think that raises a good point. I'll go ahead and explain my word, unregulated. Okay, so when I say unregulated, and this was kind of my thought whenever it was finally legalized or accepted or whatever, it would become the Wild West. You know, I think I was wrong in the sense of I thought the haves would continue to have, but what it actually did was, the haves still have, but the guys who were kind of on that next tier, like Ole Miss and some of those schools that could be good but could never just quite beat Alabama, LSU in recruiting.
Right.
All of a sudden, this free agency of, well, now we got boosters with money. They dump a bunch of money into an account, the collectives, and I guess I'm oversimplifying it, but that's essentially what it is. You dump a bunch of money into an account. Now we could pay. So now when I go sit down with Tyler Gaspard and his parents, I can say, well, we can give you this. And then you're like, oh, you know, Nick Saban, and I guess we're going to have to link the video we shared in our group text to the Twitter page. But Nick Saban says he was selling the dream of development and personal development, professional development, potentially bettering yourself and all that awesome stuff. And now you got the Kiffins of the world, and I'm not vilifying him for it. He's, again, the rules are what they are. He's just playing by them.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, come play for us instead. And all of a sudden, now you see an Ole Miss win 10 games a year, 3 years in a row or whatever it's been.
I think
that's never been the case.
No.
It's not how good of a coach you are anymore. Like
Recruiting, developing, the money's talking.
Money talks. I mean, like money has power. Like as much as like some people, it's unwanted power, but money has power.
Hey man, there are 3 things in this life that are undefeated. I won't name the other 2, but money is one of them. Money is one of them.
I think so. I kind of think we've been a little negative, which is fine. So one benefit that there's one, I had to sit and think about it. Okay. But I found one benefit of this NIL stuff. It can possibly help young adults make better financial decisions later on in life.
Right.
I think having too much of it, like, I don't know. As a 21-year-old, if I gave you $5 million cash, would you put any in the savings?
Me personally, yes. Somebody, the vast majority, probably not.
Probably not. Like, I mean,
but then again, I was raised with people who taught me,
and I'm not
money
saying those
sense,
kids aren't raised that way.
But a lot of people aren't. You know, you got to look at that. That's a variable that is. That's why it's called a variable. It's different from person to person.
Yeah. I do think if you have the right people around you, it can help you in the long run as far as financing your money.
Well, these universities have done a good job of, when it became legal, of getting these guys some financial training, which I think is invaluable. That is great. So if these guys are making all this money and they're allowed to, well, the least we could do is get them some financial training so they don't go blow it or they don't make poor decisions or if they have bad habits, they don't continue to let that money perpetuate those bad habits. So I think that part's good. And something else I think is good about NIL is I think it makes the college game better. I think why people enjoy the NFL so much is the parity, is the ability of every year could be your team's year. And again, college football still has a clear distinction between the haves and the have-nots, but it brought a couple more teams to that table, to that party, and now there's a little more parity in college football. You know, Alabama's not ruling all. You know, Texas A&M showed that you could buy the biggest, best, most expensive team in the world, but if you still pay the wrong guys or if you're not adequate at coaching them, you know, that's not necessarily the key to success. Lane Kiffin's proved the opposite. He paid the right guys and coached the crap out of them, and now they're good. So I think from a fan's perspective, it's made college football more interesting. You know, and I'll speak as a fan because I'm not in the business.
Right.
I'm sure for people in the business, player, coach, different ball of wax. I'll speak as a fan. You know, I kind of enjoy seeing a couple of extra teams able to win on any given
And it's going to
Saturday.
be really interesting with the new playoff system.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no doubt. Well, let's hear from somebody who is in the business or was.
50 years of coaching no longer exist in college athletics. So it's always was about developing players. It was always about helping people be more successful in life. My wife even said to me, we'd have all the recruits over on Sunday with their parents for breakfast, and she would always meet with the mothers and talk about how she was going to help and impact their sons and how they would be well taken care of. And she came to me, you know, like right before I retired and said, why are we doing this? And I said, what do you mean? She said, all they care about is how much you're going to pay them. They don't care about how you're going to develop them, which is all what we've always done. So why are we doing this? So, you know, to me, that was sort of a red alert that we really are creating a circumstance here that is not beneficial to the development of young people.
Like I said, you don't have to be a coach anymore.
Yeah.
Like coaches, it's not about wins and losses. At some point, yes, it is. But like, how well are you developing the players? Okay, what's your relationships with them? And there's no such thing. I don't see like, hey, me paying you makes me a good coach. It makes me a great
GM.
salesman.
Yeah, you're a great GM for an NFL, you know.
Yeah. You're a general manager.
And I think that's kind of what Saban was saying here is like this has become more of a general manager job than a mentoring job, and I'm really not about that. That's not a strength of his. I mean, you know, it wasn't when he went to the NFL. You know?
What am I teaching you about life? Saying I can pay you more money. Come to me, like. So you're telling me I got to take the best job? I mean, the highest paying job doesn't matter what it does to my family. Like I don't know that. I feel like you're no longer a coach.
Well, everything has an opportunity cost too. You know what I mean?
There's
an opportunity
pros,
cost to
there's
taking the
always
more
cons.
money. Yeah.
There's always pros and there's always. But you got to weigh them out. You have to have. You have to be able to weigh them out.
I will say this because there's another before we have to shut it down in about 10, 12 minutes. There's something else I want to say that's a good thing that I wrote down, and there was the two girls, the two female basketball players.
The Cavender twins.
That's right.
From Miami, huh?
And they jumped around too, so
Yeah.
that transfer stuff's a little annoying, and with that sense. But there are limited, and this is the best point they made because I largely didn't love all the points they made. They were kind of generic. They really didn't, you know, but there's limited professional options for female sports.
Yeah.
Because professional female sports
Aren't viewed.
they're just not as profitable.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I'm not going to get into the feminist part of it, but it's for whatever reason they're not as profitable. And that's just a fact of life. You can look that up. They're not as profitable. So I think it's good for these really amazing female athletes to have a chance to make some money. You know, I think that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Because their earning potential is going to be much limited once they graduate. So the brand building for them is going to be great for the female the female athletes.
Olivia Dunn does a cartwheel and she gets $1 million.
Well,
Yeah.
Can I try?
Shoot.
No, I'm not. I'm still not
But-
trying that.
So I want to jump into this because I know we're running kind of low on time, so I want to go on this angle of it. So Alabama's AD talked about football and basketball at the university level funding the majority of other sports because they operate at a loss.
Right.
The other sports do. Saban talked about revenue sharing, meaning I'm assuming this is the money football makes, that's the money football could pay.
Yeah, that would not be NIL coming from boosters and all that. That would be a piece of the revenue that those athletes are contributing
They're
to.
contributing because
Yeah.
they're playing.
Yeah.
So this is why I like revenue sharing. You earned it. This is the pot we could pay you from.
Yeah.
That's just it. Similar to high school in the sense of we don't pay players yet, but what you make, your fundraisers, your gate money, whatever, that's the money you could spend.
That's in your account.
That's all you could spend. That's it. That's all you made the money. You're able to spend the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me put this on the table. Would colleges benefit? And I don't even know if this even. I would love for somebody in college to weigh in on this. Would colleges benefit from a high school model of, gymnastics, go out and raise your own money to support your season,
Yes.
and not just gymnastics, but every other sport that operates at a loss.
But at the same time, what are the opportunities for it? See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does a gymnastics player or I don't know what they're called. I apologize on that.
Gymnasts.
A gymnast, okay, or a tennis, baseball, whatever it is. Are they going to still have the same opportunity? If you're going to do it, I think everybody, it needs to be equal across the board, okay? But at the same time, you're getting paid for your play. So, if you're not performing, you're probably not going to get paid. I mean, if you don't win, you don't get a ring.
So again, my old wrestler brain back in the day, the tickets were sold based on, before the big global thing, tickets were sold based on who the main event was. People showed up to see the main event, and you were paid in a slotted system. The guys who brought the fans in, they got the most.
Yeah.
Everybody else got paid. So take LSU, for example.
Teachers get paid for their, we get a stipend. You get so much if you score this, so much if you score that.
So in other words, in, let's say, a college football, LSU, for example, in the Burrow years, I use that because they were just so great. The backups probably wouldn't have got a huge cut of that money. Burrow would have probably got a large chunk of the revenue that LSU football benefited. You're right.
All of them.
Because they sold the tickets.
Yeah.
They built the brand. Or they elevated the brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, I don't know how that looks for other sports. I think that kind of screws other sports in a way. But in the terms of football, revenue sharing is the way to go, in my opinion. I'm with Saban.
And last thing I'm going to say, or I guess I can out-ask, do you think the money kids are making these days is going to affect the draft? Or are they going to start buying draft picks? Do you think that's something that can possibly happen?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it definitely could. I mean, I think the answer with revenue sharing, I think along with that is you put that money in a trust, and that money, you get that after you graduate or after you leave.
Yeah, you tie up the money. That's right.
I think that's a good way to
And you can only get it if you stay.
Right, and you stay all
Once
the way
you leave, it goes to the next guy.
And that way you don't have to worry about these kids going out there and going crazy with that money, and it will allow them to mature a little bit and be a little more developed. You develop them more, and they're able to do it because you're already paying for everything they need now anyway, like you said.
Yeah.
So now you take that and you say, okay, this is here for you. You got a little something to get yourself started off with.
I think they opened the gate without having everything intact.
And I'm sorry, LSU baseball and the upper tier baseball teams who you don't need a wine and dine first class. Minor leaguers travel on buses. You can too. Cross country. I hate to say that, but like I said, by revenue sharing, you're not funding these other sports, but I don't think you need a wine and dine everybody first class. That's just not the way it works. You play a sport that doesn't make a ton of money. It is what it is.
A lot of that is been because of recruiting. A lot of that has been elevated because of that. Because look how we travel. Look at this. Look at that.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's not necessary. It's a luxury.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it might, and who knows, it might have a positive effect on these other sports. LSU gym meets are sold out. Now, the tickets are cheap, but could they raise every price of every ticket in there $5? Would it still sell out? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because they're super entertaining and they're super fun and it's kid friendly and it's you got the concession money. I think you could find a way to supplement these other teams to where they wouldn't feel it too bad. But I want to put this out there before we get to the list. High school NIL. We just saw a kid in our own community sign an NIL deal. From what looks like the original intention of NIL, I think it was a attorney. Was it?
Yeah.
An attorney
as
paid
a
him.
local injury attorney. Yeah.
So I imagine he's going to do promotional work, which, again, I think is the original intention of it, but is high school too early for this?
Obviously, we can't control it, so congrats to the kid.
Yeah,
But-
props to you.
Like,
Yeah.
I think we're opening a can of worms.
I do too.
Now kids are going to start, I don't know. There's like in Louisiana, you can't switch schools for a football move. Now are they going to have to make a rule you can't switch schools for a money move?
And then you got to prove that, and it's just ooh.
God.
I don't know.
And you got, and what's keeping somebody like Gordon McKernan from giving an NIL deal to the top 5 players in the Baton Rouge area every year just to try to sweeten that pot for LSU, or and if that is that top 5 list his, or is that top 5 list LSU's, then he's, that gets, why wouldn't you, if you're an A&M booster, why wouldn't you slip over across the border and throw a few top recruits $10,000 now in a time where that is life changing? Now, when they're 18 and they're getting real NIL offers, it's nothing. But $10,000 when you're a sophomore or a junior.
But is that really
or when they
an 18-year-old? Are you really making that decision, or are your parents making that decision for
mom
you?
and daddy, 100%.
Or even 17, 18 years old. Are you really making that decision, or are your parents saying, no, you got to take that?
And dude, college kids, professionals even, are having a hard time stopping the handouts once they get paid from parents and people that don't have their best interest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What's stopping an absentee relative from, heard you got paid, and you're 17, still in high school.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You used to have to ask to go to the restroom, and you're making money. Can't even go pee whenever you want.
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
I have a positive one.
Go ahead. You can. Do you want to end on a positive, or you want to start on a positive?
I'll end on the positive. How about that?
Okay. Mine's duck hunt. I guess you can say northern duck hunters, because they putting these ducks on NIL deals.
Oh, God.
They flooding the corn. They're doing all this stuff to keep the ducks up there, and obviously, it's not getting cold enough down here.
That is the most Cajun thing you've ever said to me.
They giving the ducks NIL deals. They keeping them up there with their flooded, nothing's freezing over because they keeping the cornfields frozen. Ducks are staying. You got food. So ducks are losing that migration pattern. And now we don't get to shoot no ducks.
Call Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz needs to fix this
Congress
immediately.
step in here.
But we ain't getting no ducks down here.
Call Ted Cruz.
I like shooting the ducks. I like eating the ducks. I like calling the ducks. It is.
Man, there ain't no ducks.
There's no ducks. Pas de canal.
Oh, goodness. I'm mindful of the YouTube thumbnail every time I laugh like that.
It's always watching. The algorithm's always watching. All right, so for me, it's free agency. All right, and every day I'm hearing somebody got signed by so and so, and yesterday it was Devin White. I heard Devin White's gone to the Eagles, and and Tony Pollard left my Cowboys the other day, and now it just seems like it's everybody all the time. Like, you don't know, if you're a casual fan, you don't know who's playing for who anymore. And you get to August and you start watching games, and you're like, huh? What? Where did he go, or where did he come from?
You can't even keep up anymore.
You can't keep up. And when I was a kid, for somebody to change teams was like crazy weird. And now I just feel like it is the absolute norm. And I don't know how I don't guess there's no way to really fix this or anything. It just bothers me. So it's kind of like a little bit of an old man rant here, but it bothers me. I don't like when I have to figure out where 200 guys are playing every year because it keeps changing and contracts. You sign a 5-year deal and 2 years later you're out of it. And I just it all seems crazy to me, and it's so hard for me as a casual fan to pay attention to it. If you're trying to do fantasy football, you don't even. It's impossible. It's too much. It's too much. I don't know how to fix that. I guess there's no way to fix it. I just wanted to gripe about it, and I guess I've gotten it out.
But
now
I
feel better already.
NIL deals has something to do with that too.
I'm going to piggyback.
Oh sure, yeah. It starts that earlier. Yeah, you start that whole process earlier.
It's easier to quit.
That's right. Quit that team and be a quitter for the rest of you. Okay, anyway, I'm going to end on the positive note. Piggybacking off of Brownfield, Larry Fitzgerald probably had 10 opportunities to leave the Cardinals, who were good a little bit during his tenure, but really not all the time.
Right.
They were average to below average most of the time. And Larry Fitzgerald stuck it out, played for one team his entire career. And, even though I would probably take the money to go try to win or take less to go try to win or whatever his reasons were, props to him for actually doing it. Just because I would do something different doesn't mean he should.
Especially in the older days. He came from that time where
high character guy, man.
Absolutely.
Love Larry Fitzgerald, first ballot Hall of Famer. And that's the gong and that's the bell. I need a refill.
I definitely need a
Scott
refill.
Impel on your socials, Coach G, Tyler Gaspard, Eric Brownfield, and we're out of time.
See you next time, man.
That's right. That's right.
Deuces.
Deuce.